What about
So,
aliens?
um,
When I said aliens, did I should I have specified extraterrestrials? How does how does dating work? Like how would a guy go out and get a girl? Let's summarize 2100. How are we looking?
okay, let's see.
Let's summarize 2100. How are we looking?
2100.
Yeah.
I see electricity as if this electricity is coming from a machine. This seems like holographic technology, but it's holographic technology that you interact with. And it seems like it's connected to people's brain on some level. Not directly. This is something you would put on your head, around your head, that has little like things on four sides of it. Um, just like these little tiny chips. And it looks like that can read your brainwaves or whatever. And people are really immersed in this technology. I'm seeing people talking to their moms, people talking to whoever, and it's almost to the point where it kind of overlaps with what's really in front of you. So I remember when um, wireless earplugs became a thing, and you just suddenly start seeing people walking around talking to themselves, and you couldn't tell the difference between crazy people and people who just had wireless earplugs. And it seems like that's kind of
Oh my God, it's the metaverse.
hitting first. um, but let me ask if the people are happy. Are the people happy here? I get a sense that it's kind of like the problem with Facebook, depression, how that can kind of, make people unhappy if they spend too much time on it. It does seem like that is becoming an issue at that point in time. Let me see. There's a lot of mental health help out there, like government controlled. I feel like calling it government controlled is not even the right word, because the sense of government doesn't even seem to give it justice in our comprehension of government. Let me see, why is this? At that point, AI seems to be more integrated into this technology that is like a phone, but it's like a holographic phone that kind of surrounds you. Um, and it's to the point where everyone's so linked that we don't even need to vote. It's just like polls are just automatic. Like, what do people agree on? And what percentage of people agree upon this? It's just like automatic information, just like right there. You don't need to vote. Nobody needs to do anything. And so it is like a technological hive mind.
Okay. So there's no one in charge, so to speak.
There is like an AI presence that seems to be in charge at that point. Let me see how this goes. The AI seems so ingrained into human culture that it almost is a human on some level, to the point where I don't see it being a threat. It's kind of like the collective consciousness of all humans put together into one consciousness. So it's kind of just the consensus is basically what it is. It's kind of where its consciousness is.
How do humans live? Do we live like in physical reality, or like do we live like in bubbles at this point? How what's a house like for a human being?
I'm saying Legos, but this is more symbolic. I'm trying to understand what this means. It's like the materials are made out of different things that it's like a different material, basically. The Legos are representing things from the past mixed with kind of new technology, new ways of binding molecules or arranging the molecular structure of a material to kind of create different material in the way that in the past people would mix different metals together to create a new type of metal. Let me see. So what are the houses?
So do we have one of those devices that will, like, if I want a not like a 3D printer, but let's call it food. Like if I want a cheesecake, does the cheesecake just appear out of the microwave because it can molecularly build itself through AI? Does that exist yet?
Let me see. I'm seeing a need for replenishing it with something to give it the ability to do that, but it's kind of like 3D printers, but on a whole new level, infused with this more holographic technology. Give me a moment here. I don't know why I'm saying sheep wool, like the fur from a sheep, and something about being a useful material here for this machine. There may be something more symbolic about that. Let me see. Okay, so this seems like it's about recycling. And the sheep represents people.
Okay. All right. Bunch of sheeple. That's what I was thinking. Go ahead.
And so this is like recycling, just I'm seeing cardboard, things like that, into this and like rearranging the molecules. So yeah. So to answer your
So
question,
humans have individuality. Like are we happy? Is there like power in the individual, or is it a bleak kind of collective? Um, you mentioned depression. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, I was just trying to finish your sentence saying drone, maybe. But no, I don't. I don't really see that. I do see depression being somewhat of an issue, but I see creativity, individual creativity. I don't see individuality and the way that we have it with different political ideologies. I don't see that at all. Like there is no.
Okay. How does how does dating work? Like, how would a guy go out and get a girl? Does does the guy still have the need to go out and, you know, like play the field, so to speak? Is there still that kind of element?
It seems very party oriented. Um, it's like people at the beach with, beach shorts, having fun, and it's there's something that's much more casual here about this. It reminds me of how the the younger generations continue to be more casual about how they approach things than older, more conservative generations. And so this seems to be uh, like there's less strings attached, I guess you could say. There's
Okay.
less heartbreak if somebody breaks up with you, which breaking up is seems like it's almost like group dating is more of a thing, but it's not even dating. It's just people partying. Um, so it's much more casual. I guess like there's a whole thing like in the 60s there was the casual sex. Seems like it's kind of more
Okay.
similar to that.
Do
But
people
people are
still
less
go ahead. I'm sorry.
people are less secretive. People don't like hide their affection. It's almost like a group activity, as weird as that sounds. Not that people are like having sex together in orgies, but more like um, it does seem less individualistic in the sense that an individual has a crush on some specific person. And it seems more like there's this sense of riding the wave of the group and more say coming from the group for who connects with who, if
I
that
see.
makes sense.
That makes sense if everyone kind of knows each other's technological thoughts, so to speak, and the AI will kind of, expose you for liking a particular girl or something. So it kind of breaks down those walls. But I guess the picture I'm trying to paint is something along the lines of, do people still strive for physical, like, is their physiques important? People still try to get a six pack, or have they gone in a different direction? Because I would align depression and uh, physical, um, your physique. I would just, tie those together. I know that would be somewhat debatable, but it's almost impossible to be depressed and have a six pack, you know.
Right.
But so that's what I'm thinking. Like, if are we just now strapped in into this VR world, or is there still, you know, sports and human activities?
Yes,
I
I do sports, but I do not see it on the level where it's teams represented by different areas, like different states or whatever, or countries. This seems like it's more like this party vibe where people are just
But are
playing.
people fat, or are they attractive?
Yeah, so I actually don't see people being overweight. Um, People seem depressed on a very subtle level that doesn't seem to be extreme, causing eating disorders. I also get that food is different, and people are able to eat a lot healthier food that tastes really good. So it's like a lot of the junk food is replaced with something that can taste and be just as satisfying, taste just as good, but it's a lot better. So,
Okay.
and I'm also getting that reduces cravings too, because I think a lot of the problem is an addiction to certain things like sugar. Um, and it seems like they're able to somehow override that addictive quality of food. But the depression seems more around, like what you're saying, just a lack of individuality and like this kind of dullness. But it looks like a lot of people are able to counter that through being creative, like art. Art seems to be a big deal. Like I was saying, North Korea seems to be about um, kind of artists, not like arts and craft artists, but more like performers. But I'm also saying arts and craft being more of a thing that people do for fun. There seems to be more leisure time. And I think that also feeds into the sense of depression, is because there's more leisure time. People don't know what to do with themselves, and their their life just becomes kind of dull and boring because there's less drive to push themselves. Um, Although it's not like everyone is depressed. This is just I'm seeing people who are more on the outside of society, people who would be more introverted, having the depression problems. Whereas people who are more extroverted seem to thrive more in that sort of culture.
Hmm.
There are people who are helping them. So there is a lot of help for those people. Um, so it's not that tragic. I mean, I feel like we have worse mental health problems right now overall.
I wonder what the Unabomber would think, given his
Uh,
paper. I don't know if you're familiar with his essay, his manifesto. He was just an anti-technologist. He just thought mankind was veering away from mankind, essentially, and that's what you're depicting in that future.
oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's why he
Yeah,
was
for
nailing
sure.
bombs to spread his message. But we got to ask about aliens. Sorry,
Okay.
bro.
Alien, yeah, aliens. It's almost like aliens have that presence that I was seeing before. It's like they've left. There's less of like this alien presence on Earth, but there's still. It seems like there's still aliens, but it's these are. I was gonna say these are more like humans and maybe indistinguishable, but it does seem to be more than that. There's also I'm seeing this strange like squid like creature that looks like it should be in the ocean. Um, I see a lot of ocean. It seems like everybody moves to the ocean. It seems like rather than having cities throughout the continents, it's like everybody just moves to the edges of the ocean instead. Um,
Why?
but the
Is that a population issue, or is there some other reason?
oh, I think it's just what people like. It's just it's just people enjoy that. Um, People want to be closer to the water. It seems like. Oh, okay. So what I'm getting is that there's less of a need for people to be around rivers to get water, and that it's like the water can come from the ocean. So, like, historically, civilizations like Egypt would always be along the Nile River or along a river, but it seems like that changes.
So the aliens gave up on us. Are we back to being um, intolerable? Or you were mentioning some sort of a
No,
human-like alien, perhaps a hybrid, or
no, I'm saying more like the governmental connection fades away because there's less of this government to begin with. And so it seems like we don't need assistance or trade because it's kind of like all the assistance has already taken place. Um, but it does seem like there are beings that we would call alien, but at that point in time, it seemed like alien. It just seems like just like another type of species. um,
so like that squid type creature you mentioned?
yeah,
What would be
yeah.
interesting about that?
Let me see. It can connect to technology and communicate through technology. Like it can speak through technology.
Is
It
it on
seems
Earth? Is it like a species that was on Earth that now we're communicating with it or something? Or is this an extraterrestrial type being that looks squid-like?
this is like a pet. Pet's not the right word. This is like a companion that seems to come from somewhere else that has been brought to Earth and shared with Earth. And this seems like a consultant of some sort. People can, it's kind of like AI, but it's not AI, in the way that it's very knowledgeable. It has the communication in the way that how insects can kind of communicate with each other. You could call it telepathic if you want, but it also seems more. It's not telepathic in the way that like we would think of human telepathy. It's more like just like having this hive mind that's kind of all connected, kind of like the internet, I guess you could say, with each
Okay,
other, but
wait,
not
wait.
with us.
So we were gifted a companion pet-like creature that is squid-like, that is essentially like it knows information and we can ask it questions, like a Google Home type thing, and it can communicate telepathically with us or with each other.
Yeah, they can communicate with each other, but with humans, there's a technology required to make that work, to make it translated. And I'm seeing it like typed out on a computer screen, so
And
people
what's
can
the
read.
benefit that humans get from this? Is it for information purposes or is it for
Let me see.
companionship? What does it do?
It's kind of like an ambassador, is what I'm getting.
Does everyone have one?
No, this is
Damn it.
this is like a big, if you want to call it a city, just a big gathering of people. Um, seems like there's people are outside a lot, but I do see this being in a building that kind of looks like a castle. It's almost like a castle wall. Um, and it just seems like that's just for the look of it, just the style that people
So
like. I
cool. And
think
who gave it to humans? What creature gave this creature to us?
the being that was coming before that was, I saw it with a crown on its head symbolically, showing that it was powerful. Like I was comparing it to the Queen of England, although it wasn't directly in charge. And it seems like that group, that species, has these beings with them, and they're almost like plants because they don't really move around a whole lot, but they have these tentacles that move around, kind of like Venus flytraps that can move to eat flies, but they're still a
Okay.
plant. But it's
And what
not
do
a
they
plant.
do? What's its thing? Is it just for display, or do humans gain a benefit from this thing?
It's for, oh, okay, that's interesting. I'm getting philosophy, but also like a consultant and like a counselor, but also a consultant in the way of, well, I was going to say politics, but I don't really get
I'm listening.
decisions, I should say. So yeah, it's kind of all of the above. It's also emotional support in the way that people would have a dog today, except it's more on an intellectual level and a philosophical level, as if you're talking to a wise elder, and they're not necessarily dictating people and telling people what to think. They're more just talking with them and stimulating thoughts so that people can come to their own conclusions, but also have someone to help them through that process.
I like it. Is there anything else that stands out in 2100 that you have to relay? Or are we alive? We're probably dead. What would who can you do that? Can you see yourself in the future? How does that work?
Oh, oh, you mean us specifically? Okay.
Yeah, are we dead? Like what do we think about this news? Yeah, it would be Jesus, that'd be old. I'm definitely dead.
I'm seeing myself having worries about this. The future, like pointing my finger towards it, being like, I don't know about you people. Let's see what this is about. It's like I'm just calling these people crazy for some reason. Let me see. You. You're just like, I'm out. I don't even want to be part of that.
Okay.
It seems like you. I mean, this is getting a little off subject, but I'm getting the sense that you like reincarnate onto a different planet, but I reincarnate back onto the Earth.
Mm. I'm like, these bitches are too soft. I gotta go back to Mars or wherever I originated from. Sorry, that's just how I
Yeah,
think. But okay. We can go on forever because there's all kinds of medical, questions, but we've already put in 90 minutes. We got to call it. So, but this was
yeah,
an interesting, yeah, this was a very, very interesting one. I'll have to break this up into a few pieces to make it digestible for one because,
for sure.
lengthy. So, but all right. If you guys want a reading, I highly recommend psychictai.com. Book a reading. I got it myself. It's
Yeah,
yes.
spelled TAI,
T-
psychictai.com.
Tai. Yeah, and I'll put that in the description. And what will be interesting is once you get a personal reading, which is very, very cheap, in my opinion. I think you should raise your prices soon, but you'll then see how accurate your personal reading is, and then you'll hear this video and think, "Holy crap!" It'll be more interesting and more believable because you'll have a comparison, so to speak. You're like, "Wow, he knew all that stuff about me. How could he know that?" And now I'm going to listen to this future stuff and really get into it. So, all right, folks, peace out. Thank you, Mr. Tai. I'm gonna end it
Thank
here.
you.